A lot of people ask, why does real estate not work in an environment of high inflation? Why is real estate coming down when we have seen such massive levels of inflation in so many economies? The housing price index in most developed economies is showing that house prices are falling with inflation rising. The most important factor is liquidity. Liquidity draining is a key factor that very few people talk about, but it is essential in housing, because in the period in which we were told that there was no inflation, housing was a shelter for excess liquidity that generated a massive increase in valuations. And that massive increase in valuations was already discounting the outcome that we are living today. So, liquidity drain, which is going to be phenomenal in the next years, is something that we need to take into account when looking at real estate. There's going to be about $5 trillion of balance sheet reduction from central banks, plus $2.5 trillion of deficit spending from governments. All of that means less liquidity for the private sector, and certainly less liquidity driven to relatively scarce assets. This does not mean that real estate as an asset class is going to work all the time. However, what it does mean is that there will be pockets of value in which there are a number of things that are not as negative. The things that we need to look at first is obviously leverage. Areas where there's a lot of leverage and at the same time weakening of demand are likely to see higher price falls. Liquidity drain is likely to make it more difficult to see the expansion of valuations that we have seen in the past. But at the same time, we need to look at the difference between available stock and demand. If demand is moderating, even slowly, but the available stock is rising fast, that can generate a significant price reduction. Price increases are likely to come in those areas in which there is already a tight supply, already a very difficult environment of supply because it's not growing and has not grown in the past years, and where demand is stable and very driven by excess savings, i.e. where purchases come without a mortgage, where purchases come from excess saving from citizens, not from looking at leveraged actions or leverage operations. So everything that needs little liquidity additions, little leverage, and at the same time there's tightness of supply, is going to be something that might be attractive. But real estate as an asset as a whole is as exposed to the negatives that we have seen in bonds, in crypto assets, etc., to the liquidity drain as equities, bonds, private equity, etc. Because ultimately, liquidity draining and rising interest rates means lower valuations, lower levels of valuations relative to prior levels. Not necessarily with a collapse of demand, but certainly because of a collapse in liquidity. So pay attention to it.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, leave your comments below, and keep defending freedom. Thank you very much.